Okay, so I do think there has been some good progress towards diversity within clinical trials. You know, one of the roles that we fulfill as a CRO is to build and operate, execute trials to really bring a lot of that diversity wherever we can. You know, and we do that by going to multiple countries, multiple regions, etc. When you look at the diversity within trials within countries, then there's still a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of work to be done there. You know, from my perspective, I think we have to take a grassroots approach to it. It's not about, you know, targeting, you know, Black or Asian patients individually. It's about targeting channels that can open investigator sites, that can open locations, whether they're inner city locations or, you know, neighborhood locations, where we can educate clinical students, nurses in their kind of college careers towards what does clinical research mean, why is it important in their locations, in their areas, how they can contribute to it. And I think going after the educational part is something that will help us build something for the future. I don't think this is an issue that we can solve instantaneously. There are certainly things that can be done to help that and help with targeting of investigators and patients for clinical trials in more diverse populations. But I think the longer term, we've got to look at this as a long-term solution. And, you know, as part of the work that we do, we really believe that getting into the educational stream somewhere and explaining the importance of clinical trials, the importance of the diversity in that clinical trial, and the role that diverse populations can take in that, whether you've got people who are going to go on to be a doctor, you've got to raise that kind of curiosity around clinical research before they get to that end stage of being a doctor. So for me, it's about education, it's about development of the desire to open these channels up, and then getting them to open the channels up. Now, getting them to open channels when they become a doctor or become an investigator or have that interest in becoming an investigator, there's got to be capital available to do it at that point. This is not something that a research, you know, a doctor's site, a surgery, etc., can do, you know, without a strong commitment towards it. And that's cost driven by personnel, equipment, etc. So I think there's a lot of education to be done and a lot of support to be put in place when that education comes to fruition in the future.